What's up, everyone? Welcome into the All 22 NFL Show, the official channel of the All 22 Fantasy Football platform, the only fantasy football game with full 53-man rosters, including offensive linemen, where you get to choose personnel packages and have access to PFF grading and advanced stats to make decisions each week. To learn more and sign up, go to all-22.com. And people out there, there's only a limited time to do this, right? The season begins next week. It is time to get in there. If you are going to play, it is really now or never. We have 1 week to get these drafts done. Get in there and sign up, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Ray, how we doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Chris. I got a question for you before we jump in. Like you said, we're a week out, right? Okay. We're a week from today, actually, as we record. The NFL season begins. What is the most out-of-pocket thing one of your coaches has ever said to you at any level? What is the most out-of-pocket thing you've been told on football field by one of your coaches, or in the film room? It could have been in the film.
I have like family members that listen to this. You know what I mean? There are things I can't say.
I mean, they weren't coaching your entire life, though. You know, like.
No. I'll say one that like I can. There's been worse than this. I promise you, but I am not willing to say it on the air. One coach, our team was on offense. We lose the game. After the game, he tells us that we were all limp
stuff,
private part, mother effers that couldn't move the football the length of his private part, to which everybody responded that he had really small privates. So it hurt, right? Like it was bad. That was a pretty bad one, but I promise you there's been worse than that. Not willing to say it on the air. What is the worst your coach has said to you?
I think he was trying to be funny, but I remember I was going through a drill in summer camp, in August camp, and he was being funny, trying to crack a joke as I thought I was going through the drill pretty good, and it was like you had to hit one of the dummies and then kind of turn around at like a 45-degree angle and catch a football. It was basically like simulating like catching a ball through contact or something, and then turning upfield and running. And I hear behind me about like 10 yards in like a little high-pitched voice like this, like, oh, he looks like a little turd running around out there catching the football. And I was like, what? What?
It's kind of racist.
Yeah.
Might be very racist.
Might be. Might be. Might be. Or maybe I just didn't absorb the contact correctly. And he just, I don't know.
I'm sorry that you went through that. If it was racial oriented,
I don't think so. I think he just didn't like me because of the person I am, and or maybe he did like me. That was his way of showing. I think that is their way of showing how they appreciated our effort as a man. If they said nothing, then it's just like it's even worse because it's like the football version of like wait till your father gets home, but like your father never gets home to give you closure. So you're like, did he just not yell at me because I did it right, or is he just not talking to me because he just doesn't care? Like I think it's even worse.
That's what a coach told me once. He goes, if you don't hear me saying your name, you're done. Yeah. So if you're getting talked about, at least they like you. But I think like one of the most embarrassing moments on a football field for me, freshman year of high school, I did not hit my growth spurt yet. I was very small. I was like 4'9", 98 pounds or something. Like wasn't even 100 pounds.
Freshman year of college, I didn't hit my growth spurt yet. So
so anyway, so super small. But I was eager and I love football. So I was like ready to go. And we were doing a drill, some kind of 2-minute drill or something like that. And they needed guys to step in on defense against the varsity team. And the JV team was watching, but they were choosing certain kids to participate, some of the bigger, better kids. Right. And I, at that time, was not one of those kids. But the coach goes, we need a corner, somebody run in there. And I go to take a step and he goes, not you.
Yeah.
And it was I felt very defeated in that moment. I will never forget that. We have a very unfortunate nickname for that coach that will always stick with him that, again, I cannot say on the air.
Yeah. The best podcasts are offline, aren't they? So
yeah, they usually are. But all right, Ray, we have let's touch on it first. Like you said, right? NFL season starts 1 week from today, actually tonight. Very excited for that. I hope everybody out there is ready, right? Enjoy the last moments with your family before football season begins. Ask your wives for forgiveness. Your kids, you'll be a memory to them pretty soon. But yeah, it's what we all do this for. But yeah, today we are going to do a little fun exercise because all those people out there that are playing all 22 are probably going through social media and seeing all the players that they should be adding right before the season, right? That might not be on rosters, but it's like skill player guys for regular fantasy football. And they're playing all 22 because they're actually smart people that know what's going on. And they're looking at this going, it's not really helpful for me. So we're going to do an exercise like that today where we each pick 3 players that we would add, right? That may not be on rosters that we think could be available for you that you should add, right? And Ray, would you like to lead it off or would you like me to?
I'll kick things off. So I'll start with a namesake here. Kobe Bryant. Okay, that's Coby Bryant of the Seattle Seahawks, defensive back from the Seahawks. Okay. Ready, Chris? 6'1", 193, 26 years old. Among safeties, defensive overall grade, 72.8 in 2024. That's best for 16th. Run defense, 79.5, 15th. Tackling, 74.9, 18th. Coverage, 68, 19th. Pass rush, for whatever that's worth, 70.6, 11th. Passer rating against, 75.9, 13th lowest among all safeties in 2024. And that's among safeties with at least 600 snaps in the 2024 season. That's top 20 in everything, in absolutely everything for a safety.
So what's the catch?
The catch is, I don't know. The catch is, I don't know why he's not on rosters. I think he's just so unknown when you think of the Seahawks secondary. It's Witherspoon, it's Woolen. This guy just kind of falls by the wayside. The catch is that I guess safety is a high variance position, and maybe that was his high watermark, but he did steadily improve earlier in his career. So the risk is, hey, was that the high watermark, year 3? And given that this is a high variance position, it's not like this is necessarily a dominating defense. I don't have a great pass rush. Yes, you like Byron Murphy up front, things of that nature that can kind of point in the right direction there with the arrow pointing up. Safety's still tough. He's still safety, and he doesn't have that elite playmaking ability that he's ever flashed. So what's the upside? But safety's hard to find, man. And this guy's available on a lot of waiver wires. So you're probably, if you're listening to this, there's a greater than 58% chance you're hurting at safety. And here's someone who could just give you top 15 every single week at safety. And he's just sitting out there, and we're chasing names that we liked during the draft when they were in college who haven't performed as well or as steadily as he had last year, or he did last year. So don't just overlook that guy for the shiny object or the sexy name that we've been wanting to perform up to that top 15 level when Coby Bryant is right there. He's right there.
So Kobe Bryant is available in more than half of the league. So people that might not know this, if you go to the player card, there is an area that will show you how many rosters he is a part of and how many teams are also starting him, so that you can get a sense for yourself if this is a player that you want to start or roster, because other people are maybe, trends are starting. It's something to keep an eye on. So you actually found a guy pretty good, right? Less than half the teams roster him. I'm going to do you one better. Andrew Vorhees, the guard for the Ravens, is only rostered in 5% of leagues right now. Okay. Andrew Vorhees, for those of you that don't know, played at USC, was a 7th round draft pick, mostly because he tore his ACL at the combine. I don't know if people remember this, but it was kind of an interesting story. Tore his ACL at the combine, still showed up for bench press and got 38 reps, which was, I believe, the most of any offensive lineman at the combine. So this guy just told me right there, he's a competitor. But before that, you and I had watched his film and we had reviewed it. And I believe we talked about it on the podcast, that this is a guy that to me stood out as, okay, maybe he's not perfect. Maybe he's not the most agile guy in the world, but he did a lot of things well, right? Really good body type. He is 6'6", 310 pounds. And he's got good strength, really plus strength, obviously 38 reps on the bench press, but good hand strength, good grip, right? Does a lot of things well, just knew how to play the position really well. And honestly, I thought this guy could play tackle at the NFL level. It seems like the Ravens because they like behemoths at tackle and he's only 310 pounds, are moving him to guard. And this preseason, 31 snaps in 2 games against Indianapolis and Dallas, 91.6 run blocking grade, 83.2 pass blocking grade, 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries allowed. So we're talking about, again, it's preseason, but with the starters, he's basically been perfect, right? From what I am seeing, he's going to be the starting guard for the Ravens. And I think the reason he is available is because people are really underrating him because he fell to the 7th round. I think if he didn't tear his ACL, he would have been a 4th or 5th round pick, and people probably would be a little bit higher on him right now. He's a guy I was always high on. He's a guy I always liked. He's a guy I very much recommend that you go and grab for your all-22 team.
I appreciate you taking the victory lap after a couple weeks of the preseason, but as a 26-year-old, but that is a good intriguing one. It's the
5% starting, 5% rostered. Yours was 48. I'm pushing the barrel here, buddy.
Sure, but that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I would have saved that one for last. That's like the home run swing, but sure, you can, go for it. That's 95% chance he's available in your leagues, guys. So you might as well pick him up if you need a guard. I like that. I like that pick. This one, I'm pretty sure I'm like the majority of his roster ownership, if you will. But linebacker Dorian Williams. I have a love-hate relationship with this guy. In multiple leagues, I have drafted him, cut him, maybe added him back in waivers. You know me, I'm the linebacker matchup guy, the linebacker rotator. Dorian Williams is a menace against the run. 78.9 overall grade during the regular season last year against the run. That's 18th among all NFL linebackers. He's had 2 straight really poor coverage graded seasons to enter the league in 2023, 48.5, 40.2 in 2024. It has been downright abysmal. Bills kind of have a decent rotation at linebacker. You probably won't see him on passing downs very often. In the division with the Patriots and Jets, who don't necessarily have dynamic passing games, he actually finished his 2024 season with a very strong game against the Patriots, regular season that is. And year 3 is where you expect the jump or continuation of his current development arc, where he has steadily improved a bit. 9.9% stop rate against the run, which was 6th among all linebackers in the NFL. So again, like I caveat just about every take on linebackers, this is a matchup dependent player. This is not Fred Warner or Zach Bond, who you can just leave out there every single week. Pretty much anyone beyond that is week to week based on their opponent. But he should be a member of your linebacker rotation based on those available matchups, given his prowess in run defense. You deploy him properly and correctly throughout the season, you can get a leg up at a position that's very hard to get a leg up on in your weekly matchup at linebacker because it's so hard to predict and it's so hard to find consistency. But Dorian Williams, young, up-and-coming player for the Bills. I like the fit there. They did get Bosa up front for whatever that's worth for the 5 games Joey Bosa will play for the Bills this year on the edge to shore up that front. But I think the arrow's pointing up for Dorian Williams. I've been a believer since day one, even if we've gotten into some arguments and I've had to cut him here and there. And he's owned by 35% in 35% of leagues currently, starting 8%. So 8% of you listen to me, and I guess you really like his matchup in week 1 because he's currently starting in 8% of lineups.
Not bad. Not bad. You did better that time. And you stuck with a really difficult position, so I give you credit for that. I don't know if I would have been that brave.
Just wait till you see my third.
Oh, God. I'm going to go with so I had 5% last time. I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm going to go with Jordan Morgan for the Packers, who is rostered in, I think it's like something like 78% of leagues. So it's kind of high, right? But I think he's a player that people aren't necessarily valuing. So whether it's he is available in your league or you want to try to target him in a trade because you think there's value there, I agree. I think there's value there, and I would target him in a trade. So Jordan Morgan, the left tackle for Green Bay, who isn't necessarily a starter yet, it's still to be determined, missed most of last season and only played in a few games. Didn't look great, right? He played tackle in college. Packers moved him around the offensive line in his rookie year. He was basically a swing player, playing guard, playing tackle, but also I think it was flirted the idea that he would play center at some point, and it just wasn't great, right? And again, battled injuries throughout the entire year. But this preseason, he's played 3 games, 2 of them at left tackle and 1 at left guard. And in the 2 games at left tackle, 87.7 pass blocking grade with 0 hurries, 0 sacks, 0 hits with the starters. Okay. So very, very good performance from him at left tackle in those 2 games. His 1 game at left guard was not as great, but it still wasn't bad. I think he gave up 1 hurry in that contest. And right now he's battling Rasheed Walker for that left tackle position. And kind of rumors around camp are that Matt LaFleur is kind of fed up with Walker. Does that present the opportunity that Morgan can step in and really win this job? I think it's likely that even if he doesn't, maybe he wins a job on the interior and gets a start there. Obviously, the value for him, I think, is at tackle. During the draft season, neither of us were super high on him, saying like he's a guaranteed first round guy that I would definitely want my team to draft. But he ends up going in the first round. And my comp for him was Christian Darrisaw. Like I saw a lot of the ways that Darrisaw wins in Jordan Morgan: body type, frame, athleticism, power, like all of the elements that make Christian Darrisaw successful, I see in Jordan Morgan. So if he does win this job, I do think there's a lot of upside in there for a guy that is basically not being obviously started in any leagues because he wasn't even a starter himself yet, right? So you could really get ahead of it on a guy like Jordan Morgan.
That's interesting. So that's not the most shocking anecdote about Rasheed Walker. I'll just say that. When you talk about Jordan Morgan, though, my worry, the pessimist view goes to someone that I was very high on and think is a good player. And he certainly has proven himself to be a very good player. But Elgton Jenkins, it took him like 5 years to find a home in Green Bay because they love that versatility. He was essentially the jack of all trades, master of none, because they just kept moving him around. And it's like, hard to keep track of in all 22 period, but then just in general, he wasn't really able to find a home. I think now he's at center. And so always moving around, and you just kind of hope that doesn't happen with Jordan Morgan because he does have the good enough draft capital to where, they're going to give him an opportunity and they have enough of an investment in him to see what he's capable of. But if they keep moving him around and, he can't ever get comfortable and truly master his craft at one spot and find a home, that does worry me a bit, but maybe he takes the left tackle job and runs with it. Funny story about Rasheed Walker. I think his freshman year on campus, maybe his second year on campus at Penn State, he was cited for stealing a bike. And he was like, well, there was just a bike on the sidewalk and it was just there. And I was going somewhere. So I just got on the bike and rode it to class or wherever he was going. And then just, went to his class. And so we called him Rasheed Biker for a while instead of just Rasheed Walker. So yeah, funny.
Was he there while you were there, or he's probably a lot younger?
No, he's way after I was there.
Yeah,
way after. Just funny dad joke. I'm gonna move on from that. Just pretend that never happened. We're not gonna cut that.
No,
we're
just
gonna leave that in.
It was good. No, I liked it. Rasheed Biker. That's cute.
Yeah,
that's cute. Good. And just for context, right? Like Sean Ryan is the projected right guard for the Packers this year. I think if Jordan Morgan doesn't end up getting the left tackle job, it seems like Aaron Banks will be the left guard. Jordan Morgan would probably, in my opinion, end up at right guard. I don't think Sean Ryan's scaring anybody away. So that's kind of my projection there. So even if you get him and he doesn't end up as the left tackle, I do think there's a starting spot for him.
Wherever you go, just stay there. Just don't move him. Once you get him there, I tend to like him on the interior, but yeah, just wherever he goes, just
and Jenkins is also now our center, by the way. So a new position again for him.
Fun. We could use centers in all 22. So yeah, maybe now that he's like 30 years old, they'll keep him there and it'll be great now that he's, entering his 30s.
All right. So who do you got?
I almost want you to go so I can finish up with this guy because I think
you're going to do it?
Really mad at me. So yeah, why don't you double up? Because I'm just going to get you upset with my third. But I like my third. You're going to hate it, but whatever.
I have one more, and I'm going to say this is probably my least confident pick, but it's also a very difficult position to be confident in. I'm going to go with Brendan Dorlus, who has a 5% roster rate, 0% start rate, obviously. Fourth round pick last year and didn't do great, right? So 66.4 run defensive grade, 53.2 pass rushing grade, 63 overall defensive grade. And you might be saying, that's not terrible. It kind of is when you realize he only played 25 snaps. Okay. So didn't really get a lot of time last year in Atlanta. But again, a rookie, he was a guy they liked enough to take in the 4th round. But it's also like, if you look at Atlanta and the way they've built their defensive front, I mean, it's basically been, and I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this, they're just throwing crap at a wall and praying that something sticks, right? Like between last year and this year, I think they've drafted like 5 or 6 defensive front players. And it's kind of like, hey, we'll see what works out. And that's kind of, I don't hate that approach, to be honest, right? I think it's a good approach for team building to just draft a bunch of guys. Don't think that your opinion is always the best, right? Like, because you have a good chance of being wrong. And right now, Brandon Dorlus is set to back up Rook Aurora, who was also a rookie last year. But he didn't do really very well either. And in this preseason, I think it's very clear that Brandon Dorlus, even in his only 34 snaps, outplayed Rook pretty handedly with an 89.7 defensive grade, a 90 pass rushing grade, 1 sack, 2 additional hurries on the season with 5 total stops, right? So stops being you made an impact play for your defense. To me, that's like a really good preseason, especially for a defensive interior player. I think another reason I'm kind of interested in the Atlanta defensive interior players and Dorlus specifically is they did just add edge talent for the first time like in years, right? Like this has been a group that has had nobody like noteworthy at edge to get pressure from the outside. And they finally add what is, in my opinion, 2 very good edge players, although be it like they're small, right? Like they are very, very fast and explosive. That should allow the defensive interior players to get more favorable matchups and make a better impact. So I'm interested in Brandon Dorlus. Again, he's available in 95% of leagues. So if I had to take a shot on a defensive interior player, I think that's an interesting one to take a shot on.
Okay, Chris, are you ready?
Wait, no comment.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Like, come on, like be like, yeah, that's a great. Listen, like, you say some dumb ideas, and I say, oh, Ray, like that's really, I appreciate you putting thought into your terrible ideas.
Yeah. He's a lineman for the Falcons. I'll believe it when I see it. That's
all right. Go ahead. Give me yours that you're so excited about.
So I think the numbers would have looked a lot better if the developments had happened after cut day. But in any event, this player is rostered in 65% of leagues. Okay. But he's currently the starter in 0% of leagues. Okay. Yeah.
Say that again.
He's in 65% of leagues. He's rostered in 65% of leagues, but he's a starter in 0. In no league is he a starter.
Got it. Go ahead.
Okay. He had a good preseason in a sense. Okay. Like things kind of worked out for him in the preseason, and, we'll see how he does. Daniel Jones. Okay. Hear me out. Quarterback Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson basically cost himself the job. They can't trust Anthony Richardson. But hear me out. Daniel Jones had the most on-target passes dropped by his receivers than anyone through week 10 of last year, which is the time frame that he played. His adjusted completion percentage of 77% was 12th best among quarterbacks in the league in that time frame. Now he's indoors, a semblance of an offensive line. Tyler Warren, a new friendly quarterback, a quarterback-friendly target there right over the middle, who's not going to drop a bunch of passes. A deeper receiver core now, I think. I still like Josh Downs and what he could do for you. I'm not saying you should ever willingly start him. But 59 different quarterbacks started a game last year. 59. Attrition just happens at that position. So Daniel Jones is worth having on your roster in the event that you are one of those users that has to go into the well and not have everything go according to plan at the quarterback position like you wanted in a nice little bow at the start of the season, because the real world just doesn't work out that way at quarterback. So get the guy with the 12th highest adjusted completion percentage in the league indoors with a decent offense, decent offensive line. You're in a pinch. You could do a lot worse depending on the matchup. Daniel Jones might get you through 2 or 3 weeks this season if you need him to. So I think it's worth it. I'm just saying, Daniel Jones might save your season.
It's so annoying because, like, no.
Because it's right. Because it's right. I'm annoyed because I'm right.
No, because, like, it's one of those things, right? We had this conversation last week or 2 weeks ago where we said the Colts are going to start Daniel Jones and be good enough where they can't draft their replacement quarterback for Daniel Jones. That is not what you want for your team. And in all 22, it'll do the exact same thing for you. Like, you're not going to win a playoff game if you have to resort to Daniel Jones. Sorry. It's just, and if it does, I want you in my comments telling me I'm wrong, but I'm not. I promise you I'm not wrong on this.
Chris, you're the Tua guy, okay? You're the Tua guy. You start Tua, he inevitably misses 3 games, okay, between October and November. Daniel Jones just waltzes up in there. He's playing the Jaguars in the division. You know, he's getting you a 69 grade for the week, keeping you afloat, lets you go 2-1 during that 3-week stretch. You make the playoffs. You have a chance to go on your run. You're mad at that? That's exactly what you want. It's exactly what you want from a QB2. A guy who started for a half decade.
You want that for QB3. That's not your QB2. If he's your QB2, guys, like, you did something wrong.
Your QB2 is Jackson Dart. He's not starting yet because they didn't listen to me last week.
That's your QB4. That's your QB4.
No,
right
now. Not in our 16
I get
league,
what you're saying is right? Like, Daniel Jones is competent, right? He's a competent quarterback in the NFL that now has the best receiving group he's ever had in his career between Tyler Warren, Josh Downs, and Michael Pittman Jr. Best receiving core he's had, right? Maybe the best offensive coach he's had as well, right? Like, that's a great situation to be in. Decent offensive line. It's not great, but it's not bad. You expect Daniel Jones to be able to step in and be decent. And I think the pressure of being outside of New York will help him do that. Will he ever grade above an 80 in a game? Maybe once, maybe twice.
Yeah,
but like, you're literally just like
Jaguars.
You're just shooting into the air, hoping you hit a bird. Like, that's what it's like, right? Like, to me, that's kind of that's a crazy strategy. But I appreciate you taking the time to really put some thought into this exercise.
Because I'm right. And you hate it.
Totally.
You hate it.
But do you know what's funny? So, like, not to call out a friend because, like, I love him, and I hope he finds this funny and doesn't think I'm making fun of him, because I do. I just think it's funny. So I had a friend reach out to me the other day, and this is in regular fantasy, but just to kind of paint a picture of, like, what kind of season we're in right now, where he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I have to drop 1 or 2 players. Here's a list of the players that I'm thinking about dropping," right? Like, 4 guys. One of the guys was Malachi Corley. And it was the day after the Jets had dropped Malachi Corley. And I'm saying to him, I responded to him, I was like, "Hey, the Jets dropped Malachi Corley. You can probably drop Malachi Corley and, like, be done and not have to think about this." And he responds, "Somebody might pick up Malachi Corley and give him an opportunity." And while he's right, there are so many good receivers out there in free agency. Why are you banking on the guy that couldn't make the Jets, which might be the worst receiving core in the NFL? Like, why is that what you're banking on, right? Like, go get one of the 10, like, Isaac Tesla's out there, right? And who's the receiver on the Raiders right now? The big kid, like Keandre Lambert-Smith on the Chargers. Like, there's a ton of these kids that are just, like, making a name for themselves in preseason that are actually, like, on an NFL roster, right? Like, let's concentrate on those guys. So, Chris, I love you. I hope you don't mind that I picked on you a little bit here. There was a couple other guys I wanted to just shout out if you're cool with it.
You're on a time crunch. Go for it.
Yeah, I have 1 minute. Kenneth Grant, I was going to give you your flowers, right? Because, like, I was the guy that's very critical of Kenneth Grant. I probably will continue to be until I see him do something actually in an NFL, like, regular season game. But so far, in 2 preseason games, 38 snaps against Chicago and Detroit, which are good offensive lines, 84.4 run defensive grade, plus 3 hurries and 1 batted pass and 1 stop. So, like, we knew he was going to be good as a run defender, but to see that he had 3 hurries in 38 snaps, a lot better than I expected, right? That's like a pretty good rate of return for a guy that big, right? So definitely like to see that. And then one other guy that, again, if he's rostered in most leagues, so I'm not going to say he's just readily available, but I doubt there are many leagues where he's the starter. And it's Abraham Lucas, who Ray and I have talked about a lot. And up to this point in his career, he just hasn't really been healthy for an extended stretch of time. Fingers crossed, think he might be healthy this season, right? Like barring some tragedy, he should be starting as the right tackle on the Seahawks in week 1 of this season. 39 snaps in preseason, right? And he basically proved, I'm not a preseason player. I'm good enough where this is like, I'm too good for this, right? 90.9 run blocking grade and a 78.1 pass blocking grade. Again, when a guy shows up to preseason, you could always tell when there's a guy that like shouldn't be out there with everybody else because he's just better than them, right? Like there's a bunch of guys fighting to make an NFL roster. And then there's a guy that starts for most NFL rosters, just hasn't been healthy, right? But so when he shows up on that field, he looks really freaking good. And to me, that's Abraham Lucas. He's a guy that, again, like if you don't have a share of him and you play in a few leagues, like get a share of him because you'll definitely be surprised if he stays healthy this year. He's a guy you can start and really trust.
Love it. Absolutely love both of those. And the Dolphins need all the help they can get there. So,
all right. There's college football this weekend, so definitely tune into that.
College football tonight.
There's college football tonight. What am I even saying? Who plays tonight? Catch me up.
I don't know. Boise, I think Rutgers. I don't know. It's one of those, like, it's football, so I'm going to watch it. You know,
but they're playing garbage teams. I saw that. Boise State is playing somebody that they're going to win by 60 points. Yeah, I did see that.
Ooh, can't wait to clip that.
Dang.
No,
but right. Anyway, super exciting time of year. And again, scouting starts now for next season. Doesn't matter if you're going to win the championship in your league or if you're not even going to make the playoffs. You should start scouting now because in all 22, you have to worry about these things. It is Dynasty Fantasy Football. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X at all22_PFF and give us a review wherever you watch or listen to your podcast, and have a great rest of your day.
Go.